everyone. My name is Diane Araújo. I work as a technical outreach officer at Europe PMC. Today we will be talking about preprints. You will learn what a preprint is and how to find and use preprints in Europe PMC. I'm here with my colleagues and Mike Parkin and Michelle Smith, who will be also answering your questions on the chat box. I will now stop sharing my camera if you don't mind to keep on going. Okay. So we will briefly talk about what we consider to be a preprint. Here's good to keep in mind that there are many definitions for preprints that not everyone always agrees on. So in this webinar, is to help on the discovery of preprints. So we will talk about where you can find preprints, how you can incorporate preprints to your regular literature search, how to select relevant preprints, and also what to do if you have posted a preprint and you want to take advantage of it. So let's start with what are preprints. So first, let's have a quick reminder of the traditional way of by which researchers share results. And that's done through journal articles. So journal articles undergo peer review process where a manuscript is subjected to the scrutiny of other experts in the field that you work on, and they will provide comments and feedback on the original manuscript. And after rounds of this revision process, the manuscript will finally appear as a journal publication. So preprints are very similar in form. They are complete scientific manuscript. However, the process to make them public is different. Preprints are uploaded by the authors to a public server that's called preprint server. The preprint contains complete data and methodologies. It's often the same manuscript being submitted to a journal. However, preprints don't undergo this traditional peer review, and they are not edited or typeset by a journal. So they appear directly on the server and are open to anyone to pitch in and provide community feedback. So preprints, it's a rapid way to disseminate scientific findings. Whereas journals articles provide this additional layer of validating findings by the way, by like a peer review. So in theory, preprints, they are rapid but not validated through peer review, and journal publications, they are slow but providing this validation using peer review. They work in parallel as a communication system for scientific research. For example, someone might post a preprint to a public server while submitting it as a manuscript to a journal. So here I would like to highlight some characteristics of a preprint. And this is taken from a website called ASAP Bio. So preprints, they allow really rapid posting. So lightweight and screening in like less than 48 hours with a brief quality control inspection to ensure that the work is scientific in nature. So the manuscript is posted within a day or so on the web. So preprints are also citable. So most often they will be assigned an ID or DOI, that's a digital object identifier, which allows other to put them on grants proposals, cite them in articles, just as you would do for a journal article, and so on. So preprints are typically open access. This means anyone can access them without any fees, and they are often they also allow authors to retain the copyrights. So it's up to, for example, it's up to the author to assign the license, and then they would allow other people to reuse it in the way they would like. So for example, for reusing a preprint for translating it or for text mining. So preprints also allow early feedback with comments, social media, and like specialized preprint journal clubs. And you can incorporate this feedback to improve your manuscript early. And when you submit this to a journal, it will already have this prior check by experts in your field. And another important point about preprints that they are versioned. So you can add a new version based on feedback or new data. So prior preprints versions, they are also retained and they cannot be removed from the server. So to understand versions better, think of it in this way. When you submit a manuscript to a journal, it goes through rounds of revision, and every time it goes through a revision, it becomes a different version of the original manuscript until you finally reach the final peer-reviewed published article, right? So with preprints, you get these different versions of records as they change and incorporate new findings or comments or suggestions from others as well. So that's similar to exchange you do while writing in collaborations with somebody else. For example, this is like a PhD thesis file where each different version reflects the different comments and corrections. So as I mentioned before, and many people have different definitions for what a preprint is. In this webinar, we will call preprints either manuscripts posted in a preprint server or manuscripts that have been submitted to a journal, have possible undergone some rounds of revision, but they are not yet this final article. Some journals, they will make this revision open and publicly accessible, and we will also call these preprints, even though they appear in a journal, not on a preprint server. So this webinar is not to discuss if preprints are good or bad for science, and we are not going to explore the benefits and downsides of preprints. This webinar will be focusing on how to incorporate preprints in your regular literature search and how to use preprints to your advantage if you decide so. So let's move to the question, where do I find preprints? Usually the places where you would find preprints are different from the ones where you would find published articles. It has changed over the last years, and now you can find many tools that search for both, like preprints in peer-reviewed publications. The tool that I would talk about today, it's Europe PMC. Europe PMC is a free database of biomedical research literature based at European Bioinformatics Institute, EMBL-EBI, and we are a partner of PubMed Central International, and we also share full text content with PubMed Central. Europe PMC is supported by 31 funders and is their designed open access repository. So Europe PMC offers comprehensive content such as abstracts, full text articles, preprints, patents, agricultural records, and NHS guidelines. Since 2018, Europe PMC has made over 230,000 preprints searchable alongside journal published articles. And in July 2020, Europe PMC began indexing the full text of COVID-19 related preprints to make them searchable alongside peer-reviewed articles. And this initiative was supported by Wellcome, UK Medical Research Council, and also the Swiss National Science Foundation. And it's also endorsed by the chief scientist of the World Health Organization. You can read more about preprints in Europe PMC on the link provided in this slide. So how to incorporate preprints in my search? Preprints in Europe PMC are clearly identifiable by the green preprint label on the right-hand side of the search result list, as you can see on this slide. A preprint search filter is available in the left-hand column, where you can also filter your search to get other types of publications, but also you can only get preprints using this filter. When selecting a publication of your interest, if a publication is a preprint, you'll find the green label just above the abstract, and also an orange notification box, which provides a warning that the article may not have been peer-reviewed. You can also quickly search for preprints by typing the search syntax SRC column PPR in the search box. So you will get only preprints in your search results. So finding preprints alongside peer-reviewed publications can be really a time saver. So you might be wondering which preprints are included in Europe PMC. So currently, Europe PMC index metadata and abstracts from 17 preprint servers, including bioRxiv, medRxiv, chemarxiv, ResearchSquare, PeerJ, preprints, preprints.org, archive, Authoria, SSRN, and others. We also index the full text COVID-19 preprints from bioRxiv, chemarxiv, medRxiv, SSRN, ResearchSquare, and some archive as well. So you can find the full list on the link provided on this slide. Here, the red arrows on the slide show where to find in which preprint server the preprints in the search results are posted. For example, here you can see the first one was posted in ResearchSquare, and the second one in bioRxiv. If you have interest in preprints from a specific server, you can use the search syntax to search for a specific server. For example, you can use a publisher column and the name of the server you want to search. For example, in this slide, I'm searching for preprints posted in medRxiv, which returns over 15,000 results. Now let's see how to select relevant preprints. In the following slides, I will show how you can see the entire study, how to get the most recent and most cited preprints, how to get reviewed preprints, and how to find preprints from a specific author. So how to see the entire study? You can filter your search by this full text is available on Europe PMC. So you can use this filter to get peer-reviewed articles with full text in Europe PMC or full text of COVID-19 preprints. In this filter, free to read means the articles are free to read but not reuse, modify, or share without permission, and free to read and use. These are articles or preprints. They are free to read, use, modify, and share. These are open access subset of free to read articles and are made available under Creative Commons license. So during the COVID-19 pandemic, researchers have published results happily, usually through preprints. As mentioned before, Europe PMC index full text of COVID-19 preprints, and these are made available for reading and reuse via XML format. For researchers, this means a greater number of search results can be returned. And if a preprint has an open license, the full text will also be available for programmatic text mining, enabling deeper analysis. So Europe PMC now counts with over 14,000 full text COVID-19 preprints displayed in a machine readable format. So back to the search result page, here you can see that when a full text of the preprint is available, a blue label marking it as free to read or free to read and use will be shown along the green, alongside the green preprint label. So all the other preprints in Europe PMC will have a free full text link to the preprint server available on the abstract page, as you can see marked in the box red here. So how to get most recent preprints? You can use the data filter on the left-hand side of the search result list. The data filter will limit your search to a specific year of your choice. But you can also use the sort by drop-down menu placed on the top of the search result page. So you can select date published, recent. So this option will show you the most recent preprints on the top of the result list. So here the red arrow show where you can check the date when the preprint was posted. You might also wish to read preprints that have been cited already. For that, you can also use the sort by drop-down menu to get preprints by time cited. So highlighted in red are the number of times each preprint was cited. So if you click in these 88 articles highlighted here, this is actually a link, and if you click on it, it will give you the results for the articles or preprints citing that particular preprints. So you can always use this as a way to expand your reading list. Another important point is looking for preprints that have reviews. So there are a lot of discussion going on around preprints, and you can find those that have recommendations or reviews or reviews or highlights. Europe PMC, they allow you to do that. So there are many platforms that give you the opportunity to check for reviews or comments on preprints. So in Europe PMC, we provide links to 4 services that provide like reviews, comments or highlights to preprints. These are Publons, Peer Community In, Outbreak Science, Wrapped Reviews, and Prelights. So how to find the preprints with these reviews in Europe PMC? For that, you need to use the advanced search form that's highlighted here in this red box. Once you click on it, on the bottom of the page, you find external links drop-down menu of the advanced search form, and you will find the name of the review platforms of your interest. So each one of these platforms, they will have a syntax ID, which can be typed directly on the search box. For example, here, the syntax for Outbreak Science Wrapped Reviews, it's Labs Pubs 2668. So if you type this, you get all the publications, all the preprints that have reviews from this platform. So once you click on the preprint of your interest and you find the review session on the left-hand side of the page, and you can also find here on this red box, you will find the link on this session that you can click on it, and it will take you to the review or comment on this specific platform. So what if I'm looking for preprints from a specific author? Here it's an example of a quick search for an author. I did search here for James Ware. So Europe PMC automatically recognizes this as an author search. So it restricts the results to those where the name appears in the author list. And Europe PMC also suggests authors matching an ORCID ID. One of the key problems for any author-based search is the overlap between common names. So if an author has an ORCID, it can also be typed, or more likely you can copy and paste it on the search box, and then you will get the list of publications of this author ORCID ID. So why is that important to have an ORCID ID? So you might already know that it's difficult to search for authors with similar names. So the results will not distinguish either this researcher is from one or other university. It will make it harder to find the author that you are actually looking for. So an ID allows to assign, an ID allows to assign a unique string of numbers to each researcher and thereby differentiate, for example, here, one Smith J from another. So Europe PMC, it's integrated with ORCID IDs. So the ORCID IDs, they are free to anyone to sign up and use it. And so if a researcher has an ORCID ID and has added publications to it, it will also reflect in Europe PMC. So they will have this kind of suggested author box in Europe PMC, and we will pull out the number of publications and citations based on their ORCID profile. This is very useful to distinguish two authors with similar names. It gives the affiliation as well, the number of publications and the citations. And you can also go directly to their profile. So here you can see that there's a link to view the author profile. When you click in that link, it will bring you to this page. So this will show you a graph that's more useful to the author to show it in any kind of CV or on a personal website. But most important, it is that it will also have a publication list, and you can see here the researchers claim preprints to their ORCID. So this is research output alongside journal articles, and you can claim it as your work. So these preprints will appear as part of this record. You can see this in light blue here in this graph. So they will be counted towards the number of publications. And of course, the open citations will be counted as well. So now I posted a preprint. So what happens now? You might be wondering how to find different versions, or how to find where preprints were published afterwards, or how to add a preprint to your publication list, or how to cite your preprint in a publication. So let's start with how to find different preprint versions. So Europe PMC made it easier to find preprint versions. So the preprint version, it's indicated in a green label. And in this case, it's version 2. So only the latest version of a preprint is displayed in the search results, but early versions can be found on the preprint page under the preprint version history menu, as you can see here. So all the versions are linked, but only the latest version is displayed on the search results, and you can see which version it is that. So where preprints are published. So in Europe PMC, you can also filter your search to get journal published preprints. So this way you will get only preprints that have been already published. So as you can see here on this red box, when you filter your search for preprints, you will also have the option to filter for journal published preprints. So if a published version of the preprints is available, a link on the orange notification is provided to it, so you can actually click on there and go to the published version of that preprint. And it also happens the other way around. So if you are reading a published version and this is based in a preprint, you will also get a link that will link you back to this preprint. So I just want to highlight another resource that can be really useful, especially if you are interested in policies around preprints. And this is the Preprint Info Center from EMBL-EBI. So you'll find this link, the link for that resource in this slide. So they have great information on journal policies and practices around preprints, as well as funder policies and university policies. And you can just supplement your search with all this information if you are not sure either posting a preprint will have any kind of effect on publishing a journal article afterwards. So now coming to adding a preprint to your publication list. As I showed before on this author profile, you might want to have a similar profile with your publications, right? So it is really easy to have one. You just need to have an ORCID ID, and then you need to claim your publication to it. So Europe PMC makes it easy to claim your publications. So when on your publication page in Europe PMC, you'll find an ORCID claiming button on the right-hand side of the page. So the first step, it's clicking on it. So you need to log in using your ORCID credentials. And then click Claim to ORCID. So you see that with just a few clicks, you claimed your preprint to your kit and added it to your author profile as well. So once the claim is processed, what can take up to a few minutes, your new publication will appear on your profile in Europe PMC. And if it is a preprint, it will appear in light blue, as you can see here. So, can you cite preprints in your publications? Yes, you can do it, and many people do it. So one way is to check how a preprint is cited. One way is to check how a preprint is cited in other publications. So for that, you can use Europe PMC to check these other publications. So you can find out if a given preprint has been cited or not by checking the citations and impact section that you will find on the preprint page in Europe PMC, just on the left-hand side. You can see here marked in a red box. So on this page, you'll find a link to jump to the citations list. Since we are already on this citation page, I just would like to highlight a nice feature here. There's the Smart Citations, which shows if an article or preprint has been supported or disputed. So I just thought it would be nice for you to know that there's one more feature here. So back to the citation list, when you click on go to all article citations, you will have a result list with the article citing that preprint. This way you can go to the article and check reference and sessions and see how the preprint was cited in this article. The other way is by using the get citation option on the right-hand side of the page, here also marked in with a red box. So here you can export the citation as a text or his format, or you can also, it also gives an option to directly copy the citation and you can paste it for a particular preprint without having to download the citation as a file. So this webinar comes to the end now. I hope it made you inspired to post, cite, review, and read preprints. But most importantly, if you are interested in preprints, I hope this webinar showed you how to get the most out of the preprint experience, and improves the way you can incorporate preprints in your literature search. So I invite you to explore more on europemc.org. If you have any questions, you can leave your question at helpdesk@europemc, and you can also follow us on Twitter if you wish to. And if you are interested in helping us to improve our user experience, please contact our help desk to demonstrate your interest, and then you might be contacted to participate in user research. So I would like now to thank you all for coming, and we are now open for any questions you might have. One is, what is the difference between full text and license? So the full, I think you might mean full text and open access, right? Because the full text, it will be available for reading, but you cannot actually reuse or modify it. But if this full text has an open license, so it means it can be reused or modified. So one example we have is, like, for example, for text mining, we have, for some articles, we have the full text in Europe PMC, but they are not open license. So we cannot text mine them. So we have a nice tool that text mine and highlight key terms on the publication. So for the articles that are not open access, we cannot do this highlighting on the full text. So the full text is like mainly for reading. So thank you everyone for coming to this webinar.